Come on. Where's my live stream? Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes. We're in. You're live, mate. I can hear you. Good stuff. Come on. There's my live stream. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Good. We're in. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You know who I am. Thanks for joining me for another, I don't know what you want to call it, chat about world boxing. And of course, can't start talking about world boxing without talking about that eventful weekend with MMA, UFC, Conor McGregor, and Holly Holm. I'm not going to spend too much time on that. But before I even get to that, I want to say a big shout out to the people of Cork this evening. I am in Cork, beautiful spot in Ireland. It's a beautiful part of Ireland I've been so far, to be fair. Seen Galway, seen Dublin. I've seen the other side of Ireland, which is considered the UK. But this is... this place is beautiful, Cork. I'm going to be here for a little while still, so hopefully I may even bump into Spike O'Sullivan, who lives in Cork, and we'll see how that goes as well. So, who have we got in the room? And let's get going. We'll start with Andy Wilkinson. Good evening, Andy. Hope you're well. Terence Talbot. Good evening, Terence. Hope you're well. Cameron. Good evening, Cameron. Hope you're well. Let's see who else is in the room. Okay, right. Andy says, "Hey Ingram, hope you're well." I am well, good. Annoying cough there, but it's all right otherwise. Just rushing around like a madman at the moment, trying to get things together. You know, life outside of YouTube and Twitter. I'm sorry to disappoint some people, but there is a life outside of that. Cameron says, lot of interest in boxing, myself not been watching, disappointed with the state of the sport today. Yes, I have to agree with you there. Andy Wilkins says, Ingram, we're going to have to get you a place in England. Well, I was actually in the UK for a day or two. It wasn't that long. You know, a civilized modern country with decent internet and electrics. Well, yeah, this is quite a nice hotel that I'm in, to be fair. But I had to pay for speeded up internet. And the lighting in here is not the greatest, but as you can tell, it's okay. It's not great. And this is your live. Only in this room because it's Ingram, not here for boxing, LOL. Support your bros in that. Yeah, thank you very much, Karen. Appreciate that. Boxing can be a fickle sport, but yeah, we all have to support each other. Evening, Ingram, says Michael Redmond. Been here for a minute. Yes, Redmond. Andy Wilkins says, know the feel myself, haha. Full of the flu myself. Michael Redmond says, brutal. Yes, it seems to get more and more brutal every year. Okay. Apologies for my more subdued self. I'm sure I will be kicking out of it very quickly. I think I will start with a big grin on my face. And I'm going to say one word, or one name. I'm going to say Floyd Mayweather, and we'll call it the curse of Floyd Mayweather. It seems anybody who seems to have opened their mouth up of the UFC of recent times, whether it be Ronda Rousey or now Conor McGregor, seem to get their ass handed to them. First it was Ronda Rousey on the front page of the Ring magazine. How dare she be on the front page of the Ring magazine? And and then gets her ass smashed by a former boxer. Then we've got who turns into now, you know, into the UFC fighter, and Holly Holm was a huge underdog. And then we have Conor McGregor, who, let's be fair, is a great entertainer and can fight, and his recent knockout win inside 30 seconds kind of yeah, made him look good, but you know, that 30-second clip may have got to his head a bit, and I think got to a lot of people's heads and gassed. And then he decided that he was going to step up in weight and fight a man who, from what I'm hearing the reports of, isn't that great a fighter. He's an average fighter, and people expecting McGregor to blow him out of there. But you go up in weight, you get hit on the chin, you know, somebody hitting you back, and now you've got a guy who takes your best shot and can come back at you. Then you got to see what then. And it seemed to me, just for observation, that McGregor was in with a guy that was bigger and stronger than him. And let me get something straight here very quickly. I ain't gonna spend much time on this, but I do want to make one point here, is that McGregor, people say he didn't have any heart, but he showed plenty of heart to actually be in the ring with a man bigger than him, naturally bigger than him, and going there and fight against him. Yeah, and he took his licks, and you know, no one's invincible. And I think this is another example of why people are not gassed up. And I'm gonna talk about this gassed up thing in our own sport of boxing. But I just want you, on the flip side, Holly Holm got beat by, I think, Miesha Tate. I didn't see the fight itself, but I heard it was a great fight. And Holly Holm put up a great fight, but Miesha Tate won the fight in the end. I heard it was her last shot in the UFC, so congratulations to Miesha Tate. So, on the subject of women, also congratulations to Chantel Cameron, who is got her Power Chantel. If you hashtag Power Chantel, the amount of if you hashtag that, she gets money on top of that from Power Aid, I think, or something like that. But I think she's got £255 to make still. So shout out to all those people out there who've been helping that campaign and helping Chantel Cameron. And if you don't know about the campaign, just check out my latest interview with Chantel Cameron on this channel, and you can find out about that. So congratulations to Conor McGregor for just going up in weight and fighting a guy bigger than himself. It doesn't mean because you've got skills at one weight division that you can move up, transfer, and do the business in another weight division. When you do that, you are pretty good, exceptional almost. Let that be a stark warning to Amir Khan fans who are believing that Amir Khan's going to move up to middleweight and you know, go out there and just destroy Canelo and be as fast as he was at welterweight. Don't buy into it. He may beat Canelo, but that'll be an interesting thing altogether. Anyway, a lot of people underestimate Diaz coming into the fight. Very, very underrated Diaz, and he'd been a man who'd been in proper fights. I'm not knocking McGregor, but you know, it seemed that as soon as he got hit hard on the chin and got rocked a bit, Diaz was there to finish him off. But you know, you get hit by a guy who's heavier, and you see, the thing is, when you're fighting someone who's heavier than you and they hit you and they hurt you, you know, sometimes you can shake off the effects against a guy who hits you and you know, the same weight. But I'm not making excuses for McGregor. He got hit, he got done. It's as simple as that. So we'll leave it as that. People are in the room, and let's hear what they're saying before I move on to our boxing. I'm going to link this back right into the boxing very soon. UFC best fights. YouTube says UFC best fights, the best. No cherry picking. Totally agree with you, YouTube. Cameron says, Ingram, you're right, but McGregor at 145 is nearly too good for his own good. Won't lose once he goes back down. You hope so. You hope so. YouTube says, boxing's a load of BS politics, cherry picking. Should just fight next best guy over and over again. I agree with you totally. They have to do that. I think that boxing's going to have to make that decision soon, or else they're going to see the UFC overtake them. Too precise is punching for guys at that weight, too light on his feet. Okay. What people forget about the Diaz brothers is that they're true specialists in the Gracie gyms. People underestimate that stuff. Joe Boy 3699 McGregor thought he was a Terminator. He totally believed his own hype. Yeah, he did, and came on stuck. Diaz is so underrated, it's a joke. Andy Wilkins says Chantel was a good interview, mate, and I really hope she goes all the way. So do I. Yeah, get yourself on the first MMA strike. The show we planned is one not to be missed. A great, right. So sad. What do you think about all that weight Khan has put on? I can't believe Virgil Hunter would allow that. Well, I think I did a video. If people remember rightly, I did a video about Amir Khan selling himself out and being a cash cow and selling himself down the river, almost. What did I say? He'll sell himself to the highest bidder. And I think that Amir Khan has pretty much given up in the sport of boxing. It's my personal opinion. He just wanted one big super fight to secure his family, and that was that. That's what I said. If you listen to Virgil Hunter, he said about Amir Khan not being as dedicated in gym as you should have. You know, any guy that seems to have the hunger in boxing doesn't hang around the way he was hanging around waiting for super fights. So for me, I don't really see. He's been out of the ring a year. That's the first thing. He's no Sugar Ray Leonard. He's been out of the ring a year a bit. The last time he was in the ring, he got rocked by the light punching Chris Algieri, and I just can't see if he's getting rocked by Algieri. You know, if he's getting hit and hurt by Maidana, and Maidana's slow of hand and slow of foot, and that's a welterweight or light welterweight, God only knows what's going to happen when Canelo hits him. I'm sorry. He's gonna. To me, he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be able to retain the speed, because if he can't retain the speed, I don't think Khan's got that great boxing ability. I never rated him on the inside, and he's going to have to be absolutely punch perfect against Canelo. Absolutely punch perfect. Yeah. Andy Wilkinson says Khan has put on some weight, but if he has kept the speed, he can outbox Canelo. I don't see it somehow. I don't see him outboxing Canelo. I could probably see him frustrating Canelo for 3 or 4 rounds, maybe 4 or 5 rounds, but it's the later rounds. It's a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you know Khan can't stay on his feet for 12 rounds and just box. You know, at some point he's going to hold his feet. At some point in them 12 rounds, he's going to make a mistake. At some point, and when he does, I mean, I would have given him more of a chance had he been fighting boxing consistently over the last year or so, but he hasn't. And well, I don't know how much heart he's got left in the sport personally. And I just, you can't put muscles on chin. I'm sorry. You can put all the fat you want on yourself, but it's as simple as that. So I'm not convinced. You know, this is not like a Sugar Ray Leonard or a Roy Jones Jr. where, you know, they're moving up in weight and they're going to stay lean and stuff. This guy's putting on fat. I mean, sorry, it looks like he's just not gonna. He can't be bothered to make. Can't say, you know what? I can't bother to make welterweight anymore. I'll just go on to fight a middleweight. What the hell? And if I get beat by Canelo, so what? Well, I'm not really a middleweight anyway. So, you know, it's just, you know, I'm just looking forward to see Disco Dan again. That's all. I'm just looking forward to see Disco Dan, to be honest. Okay, so the people are saying Benjamin Berger McGregor is an MMA man. Khan is a boxer. Yeah, they're both moving up in weight. Put muscles. Jerry Boy 3699 says put on muscle maybe, but sure fat is bad. I agree with you. Boxing Gob says people are pretending as if he wasn't buzzed by Algerian Diaz. That's my point. He was buzzed. And Andy Wilkinson says, yeah, I agree, Jerry. Andy Wilkinson says, yeah, you're right, Ingram. Do you think Browne stops theatre pain? I hope so. Yes, says Jerry Boy. So let's talk a little bit more. There's lots to talk about. First of all, congratulations to Lucas Browne, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world. And Lucas, I know you do watch my videos and we have spoken via DM, and I want to say congratulations to you. I've been the first to call you, you know, doorman, slow feet, slow hands, you know, going life and death against James Toney. Now, I guess that win against Chagaev made Richard Towers look pretty good. The one thing I've always said about Lucas Browne, I said that guy can punch. That guy can punch, and if you can punch as hard as he can, there's always a chance. But I thought Chagaev's overall boxing ability, punch power, and the whole package of Chagaev was going to be too much for Lucas Browne. But oh my gosh. Tiva Tap says, "Hi Ingram, greetings. Have you heard that news? Riga has pulled out the Jazz Dickinson fight. I've heard about it. To be honest, I'm not being funny and no disrespect to Frank Warren, but Rigondeaux, Frank Warren, and visa issues almost sound like Deontay Wilder, Derek Chisora fight announced. That sort of thing. It's quite common with the Frank Warren card. Things happen. I think it was a great idea to have Rigondeaux over here, but unfortunately, you know, visa issues. I mean, things like this should be sorted beforehand, to be honest. But you know, so Lucas Browne, congratulations to him. David Haye, of course, we all know is going to be on the bandwagon. You know, Haye, I'm going to talk about him very quickly as well. We're going to call him Mystic David Haye, or the curse of David Haye. You heard the curse of Floyd Mayweather. There's a curse of David Haye. If David Haye's predicting you're going to win a fight, be sure you're going to lose your fight. David Haye predicted that Klitschko would destroy Tyson Fury. David Haye predicted that Lucas Browne would get smashed by Chagaev. I think David Haye's now predicting that Joshua's going to smash Martin. In terms of David Haye being a pundit and his future being a pundit outside of boxing, I wouldn't touch him with a barge pole at the moment, because he is making his predictions and he's making them like he's making real terrible predictions. I mean, I'm bad, but these are absolutely terrible. It says boxing's always the same, no point going on about it. I just take it as it's always been. Every CUNT has a safety first defense. Andy Wilkinson says, I know, mate. I think he's talking about Saunders versus, what's his name? Bursak. I thought Saunders was going to fight Nadam. That's what I thought he was going to fight. And then I did read about Bursak, but I thought it was a joke. Oh dear. YouTube says, Warren knew he had visa issues. Use Rigondeaux to sell fight. Well, I guess so. That's why I never bought my ticket for Rigondeaux. Cameron says Rigondeaux was never coming. Michael Rickman says they effed up the form up. Andy Wilkinson, the Browne fight was like watching a slow motion version of the Grudge match. two fat geezers that shouldn't be fighting. Haha. Hey, chatting shit. Hope he gets banged out. Hey is simply out to make a name for himself, big time. It's that simple as Andy Wilkinson. I agree. Cameron says Warren can't get fights on. Hearn makes shit fights. Who do you support? Tip Tap says Rigondeaux could have done with the exposure. Well, it'd be nice to got Rigondeaux in the UK for sure. DeGale, Medina. Who's Medina? Is that who DeGale's fighting next? Saunders, Bursak, Brooke, Bizier, GGG Ward are great fights. Terrible fights. But this is why the sport of boxing is the state it's in at the moment. You know, mediocre fights. Now, while we're on the subject of mediocre fights, this leads me into my next topic. It seems all too often now in boxing, I see a trend of guys fighting mediocre opposition, doing what they're supposed to do, and getting huge praise for it. Example, which goes on to my next conversation. Tony Thompson versus Luis Ortiz. I know, Michael, you're a big Luis Ortiz fan. I know there's loads of Luis Ortiz fans in the room. And I've got nothing against King Kong. Absolutely nothing against him. But it's just the whole, you know, a guy looks decent, looks good, puts his punches together nicely, gets a few knockouts, and he's suddenly considered the best thing since sliced bread. And I think there needs to be some degree of discernment here, because we've got a situation where you've got a guy who's a good fighter. Okay, he's a good fighter. He puts his punches together. He's doing what he's supposed to do at a certain point, at a certain level, and that's fine. But, you know, it becomes from a guy being a good fighter at a good level to then this person becoming a you know, all-time great. And I kind of think we need to kind of slow down and think to ourselves, you know what, this guy's a good fighter. He's got plenty of talent. This guy's going places, but let's just see him pass his acid test. Let's see him fight a guy that, you know, is live, you know, not just an opponent who's coming to fight. Let's see him get through that tough fight, and then we can start giving him praise. Instead of us jumping on bandwagons and saying, this guy's a good fighter, this guy's a great fighter. Like, get Eddie Gloff. You know, I think the guy's, what, 32 years old now? And he's not been in a super fight yet. He's not been in a real meaningful fight yet. You know, if you want to say that, what's this guy's name? The last guy fought Lemieux. If he's going to say Lemieux is a super fight, then you know, he hasn't got that big super fight yet. You know, Canelo, would that be a super fight? Well, people would say Canelo would be a good fight, but Canelo's not actually middleweight. Maybe Danny Jacobs versus Gennady Golovkin would be a good fight. Yeah, that might be a good fight. I don't know. So, you know, what makes a super fight? No, I'm not suggesting that you yourself, Michael, have said that he's the best thing since sliced bread. No. Michael Evans says, never said sliced bread, mate. He eased off on Thompson, same as Bryan, then tattooed them. Trust me, King Kong's the shit. No bandwagon here, just eyes. Yeah, he definitely is a good fighter. Absolutely good fighter. I just want to see him do that against, you know, somebody we know that can really punch. Somebody you know that's really in there to, you know, Brian Jennings went in there. Before Brian Jennings, we all know he lacks a heavyweight punch, a real big punch. And for Tony Thompson, who was like, what, 44 or 45 years old? I mean, he's past it. I mean, wasn't he past it when he fought David Price? But if he was past it when he fought David Price, then, you know, I think I still would love to see the Stiverne versus King Kong fight. I still would like to see it anyway. Heavyweight division looks exciting and competitive, just lacks the world-class quality. This is YouTube. Andy Wilkinson says Browne, Ortiz, slow motion fighters. Wilder, well, a joke. Joshua, untested. Parker will stop taking till he fights someone. Start talking, yeah, till he fights something that hits back. Agreed. Wilder versus Spilker, Fury versus Klitschko, Ortiz versus Jennings, Browne versus Chagaev. 2 fights has to be 2 big names. Circumstances are irrelevant. Berger says all good fights. Mosley versus Margarita, pay-per-view 2016, question mark. No, Terence Howard says LOL. Ortiz is a typical reaction fighter. If troubled, they are in more trouble. I see the rage in his eyes, mate. Ortiz's nails. It's a good fighter. Good fighter. I'm not disputing Ortiz. I'm not disputing. I just like to see him in with someone who has just as much intention as he does. Tyson Fury himself says he thinks Ortiz is the best and isn't giving him a shot. Well, you can understand that. That's one bad cough, Ingram, my man. Tell me about it. Stop smoking, Ingram. Yeah. Stop smoking that. Scott Quigg's going to win against Frampton. Yep. Stop smoking that stuff. You're right. Ortiz will ever get a big fight, so it's all hype from hardcore fans. That will never be proven. Same as Rigondeaux. I think Ortiz will get the big fight. So because him against Lucas Browne. Now we know Lucas Browne is, I don't know, I wouldn't say he showed some good footwork there. I'd like to see Lucas Browne versus Ortiz for one reason. Well, a couple of reasons. Browne takes a good shot, solid, steady. He's got a heck of a punch in him. I just think Ortiz would have boxed him. But then I thought that Chagaev would have boxed him. But so, I don't know. Andy Wilkins, it's a very good year for heavyweight boxing. The best are fighting, says Benjamin Berger. Fury can't give him a shot right now. He has to lick that clip again. Well, we'll have to see. Well, what's happening with Fury versus Klitschko anyway? So, in terms of my review of Tony Thompson versus Ortiz, the good thing about it is, and I'll give Ortiz credit for this, is he did the business. He did the business. He went in there. Tony Thompson didn't make him look bad. Tony Thompson made Tony Thompson look every bit of the 45 and 46-year-old. He made him look like an old man in there. He made Tony Thompson look amateurish at times. The way Thompson would overreach and counter Thompson over the top. I mean, Thompson got countered over the top in the first or second round, I believe. But he kept getting hit with the same punch over and over and over again. It's interesting. So you get hit once, okay. You get hit twice, the same way. You know what? What's going on in his corners? It's like, you know, let me just put my head here, let me hit and get knocked over. I mean, I was thinking to myself, well, Tony Thompson, you deserve to get knocked out. You deserve to get knocked out. So that's a good thing. And I think if David Haye can now fight Shannon Briggs, which I hope he does fight, I hope he does fight Shannon Briggs and he gets rid of Haye can get rid of Shannon Briggs. And Tava's out the heavyweight mix now, I think, as well. Cunningham's gone down to cruiserweight. Amir Mansour, so he's like 42 as well, 43 to that. And you got Ike Ikiabuchi, I don't know if he's still around. You know, it's just to get rid of all these older fighters in the heavyweight division. Just get rid of them, so we can just have some young fighters around. Ortiz footwork and athleticism for a man that size is insane. Love Browne, but Ortiz ruins him. That punch power of Browne is nothing to joke about. We need to see what happens when Browne hits Ortiz on the chin. Been asking Twitter to do it for him. Yep, Tyson Fury getting his followers to follow him on Twitter. Interesting. I remember when Tyson Fury unfollowed all of his Twitter followers and then started following them back again. I won't fight Ortiz unless there's a whole year of random drug testing. And LOL, says Boxing Gob. Andy Wilkins says, hi Twitter, this is Tyson Fury, the heavyweight champion of the world. LOL. Yeah, I mean, I read that tweet this morning. Cameron says, laughing out loud at Briggs and Tava still being in the top 15 rankings. That's how good heavyweight boxing is. Yeah. Who was I talking about? What was I talking to? Yeah, I remember talking to what's his name? Sean Kenny Porter, and he was talking about how the IBF had an agenda with Sean, and that as soon as Sean lost the title in the IBF, he's not even in the IBF rankings now. Yet their guys are not as good as Sean Porter in the IBF rankings. So that tells you something about the IBF. That's just one governing body. So I think they did that stuff with in heavyweight division as well. So yeah. So I just think that these poor fights, where these promoters are making these making money now of these really poor fights, I think if every fight this happens, fans are getting more and more disgruntled. And if you notice, people are now watching UFC because they're watching big fights. They're watching good fight against another good fighter. You're seeing top fighters against one another. You know, they're well promoted. You know, there's a buzz. It's well presented. UFC have got it on lockdown at the moment. I've got to say, they really do. They really know what they're doing, and they keep putting good fight against good fighters. And if they're going to do that, you can only start to worry about the sport of boxing in a long term. And people like Eddie Hearn putting on these poor fights. And, you know, I think fans have got to start voting with their pockets. I mean, someone like Kell Brook, how long has he been IBF champion? And how many mandatories he's had? And who's he fought? He fought Yo-Yo Dan. He fought Frankie Gavin. He fought, he's going to fight Bilza. Bilza? I don't know who the geezer's name is. Isn't Bilza the guy that Yo-Yo Dan beat? I'm sure Yo-Yo Dan beat Bilza. So I don't understand how this guy's a mandatory. The YouTube says the IBF once kept a dead guy in the rankings for a few months after he died. Don't trust the rankings. I agree. Benjamin Berger says someone who goes to the body kills Ortiz. Joe Boy 3699 says you would need a gun to stop Lucas Browne. He just keeps coming. He does. Andy Wilkins says you would have to take Ortiz's heart in the ring by outboxing him, and then he will crumble, in my opinion. But there's only one, in my opinion, to do that, and that's Fury. Cameron says exactly. All I want is to pay my money into a competitive sport. Right now, boxing doesn't bring me in. So why bother? I can understand totally. I can understand totally, and I totally understand. I mean, you know. I mean, I didn't tune in. I didn't stay awake to watch Tony Thompson versus Ortiz because I knew what was going to happen. I mean, I had a sneaking suspicion McGregor was getting his ass kicked, moving up in weight. Just a sneaking suspicion. And when I woke up, I was like, oh, McGregor got his ass kicked. I thought, oh, well, that's no surprise there. You know? So we'll go back to my original point, which is I believe that a lot of people today, I don't know who we call it, ill-informed boxing fans are, and I don't use the Luis Ortiz example here, that a guy who's fought decent opposition, well promoted, fighting the right guys at the right times, but not actually fighting the best opposition out there, is somehow considered one of the world's best. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I think boxing fans are lowering their levels of what a great fighter is because of the type of fights that are out there, as opposed to raising their expectation. And, you know, but can you raise your expectations when the market is either not there, or we're at a climate in boxing where a lot of the promoters are more interested in keeping unbeaten records and negotiating to get bigger deals as opposed to the best fight and the best? That's the question. That's the question. Whereas UFC have gone quite the opposite and said, you know what? The best will fight the best, regardless if there's upsets or not. The best will fight the best. And we'll promote it and we'll put it on a platform that's going to make the whole world watch us. Every week there's UFC, or if not UFC, then MMA. There are fights that you want to watch. There are people that you know, fighters you want to get to know more about. And I just think, I think things like this are killing the sport of boxing off really quickly. Khabib says Rigo bottled it. Knew Jazza was going to chin him. Ward Dickinson, pound for pound, top 3 by default. LOL says Andy Wilkinson. Rigondeaux didn't want no part of Jazza. Cameron says Saunders is entitled to easiest defense, but Barask is what you call a sparring session. It's shambles. Feed Habib says no visas, scared, intimidated Jazza. Mad King made him hide in Florida. Boxing fans are mainly a pack of, well, see you next Tuesdays. Most people are see you next Tuesdays. Benjamin Berger says, aha, just the way it is. F it, says Michael Redman. Well, I can't. I don't. How possibly say that? I don't know how to answer that. I will tell you that the UFC and MMA has definitely got my eyes turning. It really has. And I've met some really interesting people in the world of MMA and UFC and spoken to them. And yeah, I will tell you, my passion for the sport of boxing is nowhere near the way it used to be. Nowhere near. Nowhere near. You know, fights get announced. I'm like, yeah, okay, fights get announced. But yeah, look at this. Kid Galahad, yes, he's back. Well, I guess with the likes of Quigg, Frampton, and Galahad now in the mix will be interesting. More mismatches with more pay-per-views. We hear all the time promoters want to grow the sport, but in the process, killing off. Well, yeah, here's an example of promoters who are full of crap. Oscar De La Hoya said that he's really behind women's boxing, but how many times do you see him promoting a big women's event? Boxing is the only sport where the best don't compete against the best. Now, boxing is the only sport where the best find excuses not to fight the best. That's what it is. But you're right. You're right. There's no hiding place in other sports, whether it be tennis, football, rugby, cricket, hockey. You know, no other sport in the world where you can say, you know, I'm not ready to fight. I'm not ready to face you yet. Could you imagine England going and playing the World Cup and saying, no, we're not ready to play Brazil yet. No, we're not ready to play Germany yet. No, we're not ready to play Holland yet. No, we're not ready to play Italy yet. No, we're not ready to play Spain yet. Can you imagine that? You wouldn't bloody play any teams whatsoever. You know, or, you know, Man United or Chelsea or Arsenal going, no, we're not ready to play yet. No, we're not ready to play yet. You know, it just wouldn't work. It wouldn't happen. Or rugby. Now, in England rugby team say, no, we're not ready to play New Zealand yet. It just wouldn't work. It's just silly. And the fans are accountants for their favourite fighters. Ingram, congratulations for your 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, it's about bloody time. Yeah, thank you very much. Kid, my brother spiked my drink Galahad. Yeah, well, I think that's going to be around him for a while. Crolla Barroso is going to be part of the pay-per-view event with Khan Canelo. You're joking, right? Even down into the Bama fights in the UK, MMA fights are a lot more competitive these days. Boxing has just become political, too political. Jerry Boy 3699. See, they're going to do Russell and Provodnikov versus Terence Crawford. Another mismatch, in my opinion. Berger says Terence Crawford is exciting to watch. He is exciting to watch. Provodnikov, the only thing about Provodnikov, he keeps coming and he can take a big punch. But I mean, that could either be a one-sided battering, or Provodnikov can sneak through and land some good shots. That's the only thing that makes that fight interesting. Can Provodnikov get past the long arms of Crawford? Can he get inside? What good fights do we have coming up this year? So far, I can name one. Algieri Spence. Is that really a good fight? Is that really a good fight? Is that really a good fight? Really? I don't see that as a good fight. I just see that as just a fight, not a good fight. To be honest, Lomachenko Walters, there's a good fight. Do you think Fury's going to win his rematch? Gonna fight if he wins his rematch? JD, do you think Fury gonna fight if he wins his rematch? I don't know. Don't know how long I have to keep saying it. Boxing's the only sport in the world that has no one world governing body, just loads of fractured bodies. As long as they keep making money, nothing will change. It's a sham shysters-filled cesspit corrupt sport. Fact. Cameron Gillen says that's not made. I mean, officially made. What do you think about Berto Ortiz too? Well, I know Berto was in training. I know he's in training. He's in camp at the moment, training. What do you want me to say about Ortiz Berto too? Joshua Martin's a good fight. Is it really a good fight? What makes it a good fight? Two young, hungry fighters fighting for a title that should never have been fought for. No chance for Ruslan, in my opinion. I agree. Algeria Spencer's competitive. Ingram, what makes it competitive? If Algeria could punch, if Algeria could really punch, then it'd be competitive. Thurman Porter is a big fight. Yes, it's a big fight. I agree it's a big fight. But who gives a damn about it? Really, people don't give a damn about Thurman Porter. Really. That's how sad the state of boxing has got. A fight like Thurman Porter, it's like, yeah, all right, they're fight. It's a good fight. And that's it. You know? I think after Mayweather Pacquiao, it's going to be a long time before we get a buzz like that again. Long time before we get a fight like that again. Because that was building and building and building and building and building. And the whole fight was anticlimax. So when you've got such a big fight like that was building and building and building and building and building, and then you get anticlimax, that's got to be detrimental to the sport. Berto Ortiz, a good fight for the stage they're at to be screwed. I still think it's a good fight, though. I think it's a good fight, Berto Ortiz. But Thurman stopped the best fight of the year so far. I heard his ass fell out. Well, Thurman is a perfect example of what Ingram is talking about. So there you go. Povetkin Wilder is a good fight. No, Povetkin Wilder it's about bloody time you fought somebody worthy to be calling yourself a world champion. That's all that fight is. What makes it a great fight? I don't understand what makes Povetkin Wilder a great fight. Most people are saying Povetkin, it's about time Wilder fought somebody else inside the top 10 in the heavyweight division. So, you know, so I don't know. I don't think it's what makes it. I don't see what makes it a good fight. I really don't see what makes that a good fight. Should fight with them. Tong Po versus Van Damme final fight. Glass gloves in kickboxer. That's pay-per-view. Aha. Macklin versus Matthew Macklin versus what's his name? Rose, isn't it? What's his name again? I can't remember. Brian Rose of epic proportions. Yes, and the winner fights Carson Jones in a final eliminator to face Kell Brook. Pay-per-view. Any fight will be pay-per-view by 2020, including pro debuts. It's inevitable. It's a terrible state of affairs. Honestly, it's a terrible state of affairs we've got in boxing. And I don't know. I don't know. And the thing is as well, I tell you what else is killing. Povetkin is limited at best. And the fact that this will be Wilder's best fight says a lot. But this is what I'm telling you. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. I don't see what the I personally can't see what the hyper Povetkin is. I don't see it. I think he's strong. He's had some favorable conditions in Russia. He's got Wilder in Russia now. Wilder be lucky if he gets out alive. If he puts his hands on Povetkin, he'll be lucky to get out of Russia alive. That's my opinion. But there you go. Apart from an MMA fan, there are so many amazing UFC fights coming up. No boxing match coming up that excites you apart from Lomacek and Walters. That's a good fight, Andy. Effing pay-per-view to sign pro contracts. I disagree, Ingram. Thurman Porter and Wilder Povetkin. Yeah, they're interesting fights, but are they great fights? Come on. This is what I talk about standards. Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler. That's a great fight. You know, Tyson Holyfield. It was a great fight. You know, something you look forward to. I don't know. Adonis Stevenson versus Sergey Kovalev. It's a great fight. Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev. That's a great fight. Barrera versus Ward. That's a good fight. Yeah, Nigel Benn versus Christian Senior. I would like to see that. I would see that fight again. It's a terrible state of affairs that you're going to see a 50-year-old and a 48-year-old or something like that get in the ring and fight again. But I'd watch them again as entertainment. I'd watch it again. Someone already said it, but Anthony Joshua versus Charles Martin should be good. Well, I don't think any of them are technical geniuses. You've got one guy who's going to fight with brute strength. I don't think Joshua's got a great jab. And Charles Martin is a southpaw. I still think Martin may beat Joshua, but what does that prove? Even if Martin does beat Joshua, what does it prove about Martin or Joshua? It's not much more. I don't pay for pay-per-views, so I don't give a crap about pay-per-views. Means now to me, no need to complain. Haha. So F, says Michael Redman. JD says, well, everybody's been saying Povetkin will beat Wilder. I sense, says JD. Well, yeah, you're right. Gennady Golovkin versus Ward. That's a great fight. No, it's not a great fight. It's not a great fight. Tell me one name on Gennady Golovkin's record. One name. A one fighter within that Gennady Golovkin's record that could beat the guys that Andre Ward fought to become a Super 6 champion at super middleweight. I don't get it. I don't understand it. This Gennady Golovkin thing. Who has Gennady Golovkin beat? Who he beat? Who has he actually beat at middleweight? Who has he beat at middleweight? You got to remember, Andre Ward fought the best of the best at super middleweight. Gennady Golovkin's yet to fight a top tier middleweight. I don't see Ward v Gennady Golovkin. How can that be a good fight? If Gennady Golovkin was started having little problems with Monroe, could you imagine what Andre Ward will do? Andre Ward will close the range, get inside, and lay on Gennady Golovkin's chest. We haven't seen Gennady Golovkin been pushed back in a fight. You haven't seen anyone getting Golovkin's chest. You've seen no one take Gennady Golovkin into a war. You never seen anything about Gennady Golovkin. You've just seen one-way traffic. He goes forward, he throws punches, the guy falls over. So I don't want to hear Gennady Golovkin versus Ward. That's not a good fight. It's not a good fight because Gennady Golovkin's untested. Whereas you know what you've got in Ward. Ward has fought the very best in his division. Gennady Golovkin hasn't come close. Martin versus Joshua would be a good fight if it wasn't for the title. The fact that it's for the heavyweight title is what's making it a joke. I agree with you. Ward is a great fighter, but what a lazy little punk he is. Haha. I think he's a smart guy, Ward. I don't know what's going on in negotiations in the background. And that's the thing. Jerry Boy 3699 says, Billy Joe Saunders is calling out Gennady Golovkin. And after his performance against Elite, I think he has a chance. He's got boxing skills. He's got boxing ability. Gennady Golovkin beat the mighty Rubio. Haha. It's more about how good Triple G looks in his ability. Tivertap says, agree. GGG hasn't got the record though. Agree. To be fair, Martin Murray's a top 10. No, he was never top 10, man. It's Sky Sports told you he was top 10. Who's Martin Murray beat? Martin Murray did well. He did well against Sturm. He did well against Sergio Martinez. Yeah, he did well against those guys. Fine. Did well against them guys and give him credit for that. But Sergio Martinez was over the hill. Sturm, that was a good performance, but I've never thought Sturm was a great fighter. I thought he was undefeated before that fight. Yeah, but I tell you, it was a walking punch bag. It's a walking punch bag. That's all he was. A walking punch bag. He didn't have anything. He's never been a big puncher, Martin Murray. He's just been strong. That's his best. He's strong and he's got a big heart. That's it. And comes forward. That is it. Well, that's all Martin Murray's got. That's just been brutally honest. If Martin Murray was any good, he would have beaten Arthur Abraham. I mean, for God's sake, not being funny, Paul Smith looked better than Martin Murray when he fought Arthur Abraham, the first fight. Saunders has a chance in the first 5 rounds as he is way more talented than a lot give him credit for. He's got great boxing ability. He can punch. He takes a good shot. He's got good. He's got a good boxing brain on him. Why not? Good fight. Competitive. Chris Eubank has potential becoming a great. Ross Clark 222 says that. So yes, Ross Clark, nice to see you. Murray was robbed against Martinez and Sturm. Agreed. Very true. Sturm has a good jab. He beat Oscar in my eyes. Ross Clark, yes, I agree. But Oscar had no business being a middleweight. Oscar was only trying to get the WBO middleweight title so he could get a fight against Hopkins. And all Oscar had to do is get to points. Just get to points. Don't get knocked out by Sturm and you'll make the fight against Hopkins. That's all it was. Got Oscar got his ass whooped by Sturm. Good and proper. Simple as. Eubank Jr. Now, there's a fight that's quite interesting. Eubank Jr. versus Blackwell. I think that's going to be a good fight. Again, a good fight. Not a great fight. Not pay-per-view. Just a good fight. David Allen versus Richard Towers. Now, that is an interesting fight right there. That's an interesting fight right there. I'll tell you why that's an interesting fight. Because the lines are there now. Lucas Browne beat Richard Towers. Dave Allen, who's sparred with a lot of the top heavyweights in the world, is either the real McCoy, and if he's the real McCoy, he'll take care of Richard Towers. And it's how he takes care of Richard Towers. It's the first time he's been seen by a lot of people on British television. I support Dave at the right Allen. I think it's a good fight for him. It's the fight before Kell Brook. In fact, I have to say, this is what don't make sense to me. How can the undercard be better than the main event? How can the undercard you know? Dave Allen works a lot with Towers, and this is going to be a good scrap. Finkaby says Richard Towers is useless. YouTube says Richard Towers was banged up for 10 years. Jerry Boy 3699 says totally useless, but don't tell him I said that. All right, Jerry Boy, we'll keep that between me and you. Just let's make sure Richard doesn't watch this. Do you think Canelo will fight the winner out of Pack and Bradley? Canelo. No. Because Canelo's golden boy, right? And Aaron, well, it could happen. Could happen, maybe. You're back. What? Okay. So Towers, Allen, good fight, I think. It's good leverage, good stick to discover how good Dave Allen is. This is Allen's 10th fight as a pro against a guy who can punch in Richard Towers. So I know people say he's totally useless. I wouldn't say he's totally useless. Towers can punch. So I think the fact that Dave Allen's actually fighting Richard Towers in his 10th fight, not even Joshua in his 10th fight, I thought fought anybody like that. So I think you're going to give Dave Allen credit for that. So, yeah. See, is there anything else I was going to talk about to you guys before I... Allen's got to win if he's going to make that step up. I agree. Hearns needs to find unification about fights for Brook. I don't think Eddie Hearn can deliver for Kell Brook, personally. I actually think that Kell Brook has to leave Eddie Hearn and go to Al Heyman. Personal opinion. Let me see if there's anything else I missed out on here. I think that's it. I think I talked about rating fighters before they actually pass the acid test. Mystic David Haye, how he seems to be getting all these fights completely wrong. Lucas Browne versus Chagaev. Again, I think David Haye will I'm predicting Haye will either fight Malik Scott or Shannon Briggs. But if I had to pick the two, Malik Scott, because you know the way he's gone over against other opponents. Then Shannon Briggs would be good because people hear Shannon Briggs and he shouts a lot. Charles is arguably the second best fighter Browne had fought after Rudenko. That says a lot about Browne, and even more about how Alan is progressing. This was my point. This is my point. This is my point. Okay, guys, if there's nothing else you want me to talk about, unless you've got something particularly burning in your chest, why can't Kern deliver for Brook? What's the problem? See what the problem is? That I don't think that they preferred. I don't think that Matchroom were prepared to stick their hand in their pockets and dig deep. Ross Clark says Anthony Joshua will KO Charles Martin. You better hope so, Ross Clark, or she'll be crying. Why can't Hearn deliver for Brook? Joshua fought Backtop in his ninth fight to take his WBC international belt. That's more than equivalent to Towers, says JD. Who was Backtop? Malik Scott is a tin man. As soon as Hay hits him, he's over, says Fikovic. That's my point. Eubank Senior and Ben would rule in today's 168 division. James DeGale is the best super middleweight in the world. That's my opinion. Hearn should let Brook fight Garcia or Vargas in America, or get Bradley over here. Well, he's not going to dig in his pockets for Bradley, that's for sure. We won't dig in his pockets for Bradley. They want to be careful, because should Spence beat Algieri, I believe Spence will be next in line for Kell Brook. That's what they need to worry about. What about Earl Spence versus Kell Brook? There's a good fight there. That's a good fight. Don't give me no Algeria. Give me Kell Brook versus Earl Spence. That's a good fight. Thoughts on Kid Galahad having his ban shortened and can get back in the ring this month? Eddie Hearn is promoter. Well, anything's possible with Eddie. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I think Kid Galahad's a good fighter, but I think he will always in his career have that question mark over him as to whether he really took the substances or he was actually or his drink was spiked. Ross Club says White is a better fighter than Martin. Well, if Martin knocks out White, if Martin knocks out Joshua, then that would be proven wrong. But if Joshua smashes up Martin, then and he does it in quick time, then possibly so. Fikovic says Kid Galahad would beat Scott Quigg. Possibly. You know what pees me off about this whole Scott Quigg thing is that he never let his hands go. And it keeps peeing me off because I think to myself, I made a prediction about a fight. And my prediction was based on Scott Quigg doing his best. And if I knew he wasn't going to let his hands go, I would have given Frampton a fight. Terrible. YouTube says, I'd fight Spence now before Spence improves. I agree there. Brook should fight him now. DeGale should have got fight of the year. Possibly, yes. He should. Well, look at DeGale. There you go. There's a good fighter there. DeGale went and fought. The first fight he had to win the title, he fought Dirrell. Then the fight after that, he went and fought Rubute. That's good stuff. Impressive. Brook beat Spence, bro. Rascart says, Brook beat Spence. Okay. Yeah, I agree. What's your thoughts on Al Heyman? Good or bad for boxing? Well, having more boxing on TV isn't a bad thing. I don't think he's got the right people in the positions necessary to market the fighters. And I think that he needs people that are boxing savvy people to be marketing these fighters. In America, These fighters should be on chat shows. These fighters should be on doing television commercials. These fighters should be doing, you know, regular interviews. But when people seem to sign for Al Haymon, they seem to go into a black hole and disappear. Because I guess they get paid so much damn money, they don't need to do interviews because they're all divas. So I did something on this before. So yes, it's good to see Al Haymon with the TV deals and more TV fights. Yes, PBC needs a makeover. The fighters of PBC need to get off their arse and to be more visible because it's hurting the sport. Whereas UFC fighters, you seem to see them and seem to be doing a lot for themselves. So yeah, Martin is proven better than White at this point. I think so. Would you be interested in seeing the great? I don't want to see George Groves fight again. Sick and tired of seeing George Groves. He's the most overrated fighter, probably the most overrated fighter in the world. I think that Groves is the most overrated fighter in the world of boxing. I really do. How many world title fights has that guy had? And how many times are we expecting to do something he hasn't? So that's my thoughts on him there. Would I be interested in DeGale Groves too? Yeah, so DeGale could get revenge. That's it. And I think Groves is a shot fighter, yes. Groves would get smashed by DeGale now. I agree, but I thought he was going to get smashed the first time by DeGale. So anything's possible. Groves, DeGale too would be good. The build-up would suck us all in. Exactly, money. Guys like Browne and Garcia will continue to cherry pick. There you go. Right. I think I'm coming to the end of this show now. It's 11 o'clock and I need to get to sleep. We've got another long day here in the beautiful land of Cork. What's Grove done in boxing apart from get luckier with the Wembley fight? What's his best win? Thank you very much. George, everything for a reason. Groves, exactly. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Appreciate you. And I guess I'll talk to you soon. Whenever there's the next boxing about that's of any interest. Take care now. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments, and just share the video on your Facebook wall, share it on your social media, tell your friends about it, let them know about Bayloric TV Boxing. I am out of here. Killer is overrated to be on, in my opinion. Yeah, possibly. If you get smashed by a car, then yeah. Where are you? Home? No, I'm still in the beautiful land of Cork. Take care, people. See you soon.